Hey everyone, welcome to Mixlife. We got a short 1v1 special today for Shyndo versus Concrete River. Adam's having some technical difficulties, so he'll be joining us at some point. Or Adam, if you can hear me, you can just go ahead and enter your stuff in chat alongside us when we're ready to do the judging part. So just a few quick things before we start. So I had to run things off schedule a little bit. I missed yesterday because I had some family stuff. My son, who doesn't live with me full time, was here for the summer and left. He went home on Sunday, so I missed the Sunday show because it was his last day, his last weekend here, and I wanted to make sure that it was fun for him before he went home. So, and plus I wanted to make sure I could actually sleep before I went to work for the graveyard on Sunday night. So, so we missed a weekend. It's not something I like to do, but we were just all busy. Adam had already had family plans to take his kids to Disneyland, so they were off doing fun stuff. So we'll be back in the full-time rotation on Sunday. Today will be fairly short. We're doing the quick 1v1 for Shyndo versus Concrete River. Just because we wanted to make sure to give those guys a little bit of spotlight for doing some hard work on a quick contest for a little bit of fun. This won't be a full hour show probably today, but we will be here for a little while. Dave is here with me right now. Adam tried to connect, but he seems to be having some kind of like major connectivity issues. So he may have to enter his judgment into chat. So I'm going to get a message. If Dave, you want to say hi real quick?
I was looking for Adam in the chat. I don't see him there either.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to send him a quick message.
All right. Can we tell them what we had these guys do?
Yeah. Do you want to go over that real quick? Well,
yep, there he is. Adam, you're here.
Is he dead?
No, he's here. He's working on it. We made them, we only gave them 2 days. They had to remix one of the top 10 highest rated recipes on all the flavors, and they could only use 5 flavors to do it. And on top of that, they couldn't use any of the flavors in the original recipe. So they had quite a challenge to face. And I might say some mean-sounding things about their recipes today, but I'm not implying that I think that I could do better under those parameters. That was pretty tough ringer that we ran them through.
Yeah, definitely. Adam, how you doing, bud? You just
got it.
You got it all figured out now? Yeah, I can hear you great. Like,
sweet.
You were having some like mega feedback, and I think it was kind of like it was like dogging out the chat there for a few minutes. So thank you for getting it fixed.
I was trying to use a phone. That's what was going on. Because I couldn't get Hangouts working, but we're good now. How you guys doing?
Good now. Good, man. Good, tired, but good.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is gonna be, like I said, like just a quick short special. We'll be back in the regular schedule, or our regular scheduled rotation for next Sunday. Yeah, that's it. I don't have anything special today. I have a bunch of stuff to post on the Mixlife Facebook group. Some things that I want to start doing to kind of innovate and help streamline the show, and to help like preemptively answer questions for people. So if people have questions they would like answered on the show, I'm gonna set up like a suggestion box type deal. But I think we're just gonna handle it out of the Mixlife Facebook group.
That's good.
Because I think it's gonna be the easiest way. I was just thinking about it today and talking to Dave about it. So for those of you in chat, if you're not in the Facebook Mixlife group, I'll get a link for you here while we start talking about this. So we were going to rate these recipes on 3 separate, basically the same 3 that, we've all been using in DIY or DIY uses. Oh, real quick, Tammy Vapes asked if Shyndo is going to be on the show. No, Shyndo and Concrete River will be watching, but neither of them were able to come live today. So we're just kind of running into like the busy end of summer schedules. So we're going to make do with the 3. We're going to judge, and then they might talk some smack in the chat when they show up. But if not, it is just here to get it done and for everybody to be able to enjoy the replay later. Because it was kind of one of those things that was like stacking up to all the other stuff we need to get done. So we wanted to get a real show going for it. So apologize for all the disorganization, guys. It's just the end of summer busyness season for us. So,
hey, Global, do you want to explain what Pixify's role in all this was, or what the loser has to do?
Oh, do we ever decide what the loser has to do? Did you guys already?
Yeah,
decide?
they said that they agreed together instead of vaping something gross, which wouldn't be fair because
Oh, the
Rick
tribute thing. That's right.
Yeah, because Rick does that for fun anyway.
Yeah, you want you go ahead.
They have to create a tribute recipe, like a heartfelt, earnest tribute recipe to the winner, and dedicate it to them and make it public.
It's genius. I think it's great.
I'm hoping that the descriptions don't go full Wayne's milk, but I'm afraid that they might.
I'm afraid they might. That's all right. So real quick, shout out to Apexified, aka Chris Peterson, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you so much. So what we did this time is we had Concrete River and Shyndo send their recipes over to Apexified. He mixed them up and sent the samples to us, and we actually don't have the recipes to release to you.
We don't have the recipes, and we don't know who mixed what.
And we don't know who mixed which one. So there's no names on the bottles, as you can see. Well, I can't show you yet, but I will in a second. So I have no idea whose is whose. So we're gonna judge it based on the recipes, just to keep things, You
put nice labels on there. Look at that.
Yeah, the labels are really nice. So good job, Apexified. Thank you for shipping all that stuff to us.
What's the QR code? I was intrigued.
I haven't tried to scan it yet. I don't know.
Interesting.
Right. So the three categories we wanted to go with, overall flavor, of course, is the first. And then the second is the accuracy, right? So how close to the original did it get, or how true to the original profile is it? And then risk and innovation, right? So innovation is kind of hard to judge because of we don't know what they used, right? So a lot of times, like, innovation is really difficult to judge because I have no idea what they put in this stuff because I don't have the recipes. But there is a risk factor, so we're gonna stick to it because, frankly, I didn't think of anything last minute. That's exactly why. I won't mince words on that one. No, right? So risk is still, I think, a reasonable factor, especially when you're talking about remixing somebody's recipes without using any of their original flavors as a basis. All right, so let's get cracking. Who wants to go first? Are you pointing at that guy?
Yeah.
he was pointing at me.
All right, Dave, do you want to go first? I know you got stuff you got to get ready for.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit out the show though. It's fine. It's just work. I can sleep when I'm dead. I'll start. Yep, sure. We have a grape juice remix and an apple butter remix, both by Anonymous Apple Butter. The original grape juice was by Philosophucker, and the apple butter was the winner of the 2016 DIY or Die Mixing Championship, and it's by Goldfish. And grape juice remix is, it's a weird fruity grape berry thing that's a little cold. The remix, it's bordering on medicinal. It's like I got that warm and cold thing at the same time, like camphor medicine that you put on a cold sore. And it's pretty accurate to grape juice in that regard. It's hard to unravel. I don't really have a clue what the hell's in this stuff. It's interesting at first.
Grape juice is what you're saying, because it tastes like medicine. We know he likes to taste medicine. Yeah,
it's interesting to at first. Yeah, it's definitely medicinal, and so is grape juice. So but whereas grape juice at first I was sort of like taken aback, like, what the hell am I vaping? This is not right. This is all very wrong. I just wanted to vape more of it, and it was just like fascinating, and I wanted to just dig in there, and then I couldn't even vape anything else until I finished the bottle because it was so interesting, and I liked it more and more the more I vaped. This was the complete opposite of that. At first, it was interesting to me, and then after that, it just started to become like, it still had the same qualities, the grape berry, whatever the hell that is. It got like a dryer sheet and cardboard thing going on. It really tastes like a really thick dryer sheet with, not not mostly, but in the off notes, and it was too much, and I barely made a dent in the bottle before I just gave up. So that's that. On the apple butter, it didn't taste bad to me, but it's not apple butter. Bright, it's not cooked enough. You know, apple butter is brown, and there's nothing brown here. This is a brighter apple. It's not cooked enough. It tastes almost alcoholic, like a spiced cider. It doesn't have that. I mean, it's boozy. It doesn't have that thickness that apple butter has, like you'd spread it on a piece of bread, like peanut butter. It's got a nice spice note to it that's pretty accurate to the original, but it's like the thickness. It's too thin. It's spiced fancy applesauce at best with liquor in it, and I don't know why you would do that, but that's what it tastes like to me. And then it gets like a little harsh and kind of plasticky after you vape on it for a while. So that's why I also made a small dent in that bottle before giving up. So I'm not really too pleased with either of these recipes, but I'm not saying that I could do better under the same circumstances. These guys had it rough. We really ran them through the ringer here on the perimeters.
Yeah, there's something to be said for having to try to do a remix under such limited circumstances.
And they're remixes of the highest rated recipes, both of which are really good, the originals. So the expectation is automatically high, I think. And I just hoped, you know, that one of them would be better than even the original, and I could just sing its praises. But that's a pretty unrealistic expectation. In 2 days, they had to come up with this, and we only gave them 5 flavors to do it with.
Rick just said in chat that it's sort of like walking backwards through a cornfield. So
what? I'm just gonna rate the damn things, okay?
Yeah, do your ratings. Do them.
You want to do that? Okay. For the grape juice overall flavor, I'm gonna give it a 2. It's not like unvapeable, and it is interesting in the beginning, but it just wears on you really fast. For accuracy, can I do half? 2.5? It has a lot of the same qualities as the original. I'm gonna go 3. I'm gonna go 3 on accuracy. For risk, probably a 3 as well, because you're going after grape juice. I mean, that's pretty ambitious. The only reason I'm not rating it higher is because there's a lot of creativity that could have gone into this, and it doesn't taste like it did. Maybe if I saw the ingredients, I'd be like, wow, that's amazing. How did you get that to do that? But grape juice is really open to interpretation. If you knew the history of that, he said that he wanted to take cactus up to a really high level and grape up to a really high level, mix them together and make it actually work and be good. So if I were entering this, I would say, okay, well, what are 2 ingredients that I would like to mix really high, that's weirdly high, that no one else would do, and then make it taste good? So that would be an opportunity to be creative that was sort of missed. So that's why I'm only going with 3 on the risk. For the apple butter overall flavor, I'm going to go with 3, just because it's a little less yucky than well, it's a lot less yucky. Maybe 3.5. Accuracy, like I said, it's got some really weak points as far as accuracy. It's really like putting alcohol in applesauce, spiced applesauce. It's not apple butter. But the spice note is good. So there's that. And then the risk, I think that the risk...
What did you give it for the second score? I missed it while I was writing.
2.5.
Okay.
I think that the risk was pretty minimal. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 2, because that is a really, really good juice that they were aiming at to try to remix. But at the same time, you know, which is a risky thing to do, but at the same time, it's doesn't seem like it'd be that hard, like because you have to take into consideration that they couldn't use any of the original ingredients. Well, if you're trying to remix grape juice literally, that's going to be really hard. Grape juice with no Inawera grapes, grape juice with no cactus. How the hell do you do that? But with apple butter, there's like 100 apples you could choose from, and probably quite a few of them I think would be better than the original that used Flavor Art Fuji. You have all those Flavora apples you could choose from, Capella apples, Flavor Arts Stark apple. There's just a bunch of apples to choose from, and so I don't think that took some of the difficulty out of it. I think they could have done a better job choosing the apple.
Well, that came up pretty close. That only gives you a 0.1 difference between the two. So, all right.
0.1.
Yeah, 0.1 difference. So, Adam,
Wow.
do you want to go next, or you want me to? I'm vaping the grape juice now, but I haven't vaped the other stuff yet.
Yeah, I'll go next. Okay, so like Dave kind of summed it up. They're both they remind me of the vape shop juices that I vape. Like when I just went to a vape con like 2 months ago and went through their whole sample set, and it's that kind of level. So I mean, you could put it in a bottle and probably sell it to somebody, but from this, like the standard of going against this stuff, it was really difficult for them. My faults, I would say the apple butter needs to steep more, but Dave nailed it with the sharp apple in it. The apple butter that Goldfish made was really good, and he was able to capture kind of the sauciness, you know, where it was like almost like he said, like a brown color. He described it. I would fault the grape juice one for being almost too cold. Like it's kind of all that shows up, you know. When you mentioned the original, I think why people like that was because it was able to be that cold but still have other accent notes. I think that the apple butter just doesn't really pop, and maybe that's because there's just 5 ingredients, or it could be from not steeping enough. But it's just definitely not. None of these are on par with the originals, and I would say that, you know, for me, the apple butter is more vapable, and I like menthol too, but it's really like 2 notes in the grape juice one where you get the cold. You get the cold, and then like he described as medicinal cold, and then like a hint of grape. So it would be almost like the Hall's mint, you know, kind of the Hall drops that don't really have a ton of flavor to them.
I'm getting like a eucalyptus with mint vibe from it.
Yeah.
Maybe it was covered up with something else.
No, I mean, that could totally be where the mint flavor comes from. And it's kind of like he described it as, it could be tea tree, like a tea tree note. Yeah, that could totally be in there because it does have like that Vicks feel a little. They're both, I like the blind testing because it's you know, you can't know who's who. You can't be you know, psychologically inclined to like one more. As far as vapable, I think the apple butter one I would vape more of, but neither of them hit the marks that we were kind of looking for on the remix of, you know, like he said, we were hoping that we would maybe see like one that would be better. But, you know, with the grape juice, you kind of nail yourself in a lot because you can't replicate the cactus. And, you know, maybe with the grape you can, but that's my thoughts on it. What are my metrics to grade on?
So overall flavor, accuracy to the original profile, and risk.
Overall flavor, first one, I'd say 3. Accuracy
That's
to the
grape juice, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Accuracy to the original, I'll say 3 as well because they're both conceptually meant to be like a strange sort of concept. For the risk on the the grack juice, it was very risky. They're both really risky, so I'd say like a 4 for risk. That's where I'd put these. Like, because I mean, I just vaped through this whole line of vape juice that they're giving out to distributors as the thing to get people to sign up to their brand, and that's where they kind of line up for me. Is that like they had one, it was supposed to be like a strawberry lime ice cold drink, and it had that same overwhelming cold, like too much colada would be the best way to say it.
All right, so let's get your apple butter score in here real quick while we're at it.
Apple butter overall tastes better. I'd say I'll do 3.5, and then what was the second one?
Accuracy to the profile.
Accuracy to the profile, I would say.
Does it taste like apple butter, right? Yeah.
No, so I'll give it a 2 for tasting like apple butter, and then for the risk on that's less risky. So I would say like a 3 for the risk for the apple butter, because it's risky, but it's not as risky as the grape juice, which is almost like I want to go after that because it would be very difficult. You know, if you were to go after, say, like Manson's cheesecake, you have a lot of options to kind of get there. The grape juice kind of doesn't really give you much room to wiggle. So you got mine, right? You're good.
Yeah, I got your scores. I'm looking for my second atomizer here because I don't think I'm gonna get the grape juice out of my wicks.
No.
In time to like actually judge it reasonably. So
I got 3 tanks. 3 tanks going on. 2 of the tests, and then oak. I'm trying to do oak wood, like a sweet oak. So that's what I'm side testing to get away from the different notes to come back. And I've been vaping the last couple hours on these both, and they're not horrible recipes. They probably knock out, you know, a large number of recipes, but just we have pretty high standards, especially when you go against the highest recipes, you know.
Yeah. All right, let's get some apple butter in here. So real quick on the grape juice while I load up here, the grape juice. I think I actually like the flavor. I do get a little bit of that cardboard, but that's because I'm weird and I'm into the weird medicinal stuff, right? That's a preference thing. I love eucalyptus with mint. I vape that shit straight at way higher percentages than anyone else thinks is normal, or saying like 3-4% by itself, and with just a little bit of EM or just solo the way it is, or a little marshmallow or something to sweeten it up. But I like it the way it is. So it's really reminiscent to me of eucalyptus with mint. So I don't think they actually used it, because I don't get that same, like, the eucalyptus with mint has a cold that kind of hits you in a different spot than like Colada or FA Polar Blast. So I think there's something like Polar Blast or something like that in there. I'm not really sure. It's definitely a mystery juice. There's some kind of vague mystery fruitiness in the background there. I think that it's not anywhere close, I think, for me, to the original grape juice, which the grape was really forward and the cactus was really forward. And cactus is really distinct in its aloe vera. I understand that without being able to use cactus, there's pretty much no way they're going to ever hit like that kind of like same vibe, right? Like, you're not going to hit cactus without having cactus, right? There's no other alternative to using cactus. But that's just me. Like I said, I like that kind of stuff. I think it's fun, right, for me, and I enjoy vaping that kind of weird shit. So I think for overall flavor, I'm still gonna go with a 3, because while it's interesting, like, it's still not something that's good enough that I think I would vape all day or even very regularly. It's a neat profile, and I might, you know, be interested in seeing how they put it together, so that I could maybe build something actually vapable out of it. I wanted to see it get developed into something more fun. So I'll go with 3 for overall flavor. Authenticity, like, I'm gonna have to go with like a 2, because it doesn't taste anything like grape juice, other than the fact that it's like kind of cold, right? Like it's got the cold and the medicinal, but like it doesn't have any of like that full-bodied fruit. Like the fruit kind of took a really big backseat, and I think that really hurt the overall profile. So I think that if they had used a bolder fruit or more of it, like to get it to compete with that extreme medicinal coldness, that it may have worked better. But I'm gonna go with just a 2 for the accuracy. I don't think it was very close at all. And for risk and innovation, or risk alone, I still think that Grape Juice stands on a riskier platform. It was probably the most difficult of all the top 10 flavors to really try to push it out, and maybe that's what they were going for. They knew they weren't going to get too close, so they took a long shot on the risk, right, to see if they could edge out that way. So for me, like, I think it's a riskier version, and I'm going to go with a 3 also on that. So that, damn you. Same as days. Now let's jam on some of this apple butter. Turn it a little. So for me, the flavor for apple butter is like, for this apple butter remix, it's really muddy. Like it doesn't have a lot of definition. Like it just feels kind of soupy, for lack of a better term. Like everything's just kind of all piled together. There's a nice bit of spice there to it, but I don't think I like it very much. There's a definite apple note there, and there's some warm spice. I'm not getting the butter vibe at all, like a spread. Overall flavor, like, I don't know. I think that there's probably a lot of ways you could approach this better to get a more. It's just muddy to me. I'm not sure. It's all just kind of like it's like maybe somebody left apple butter out on the counter for a week or something, right? It's like kind of flat tasting. Anybody? I'm gonna go overall flavor 2.5. Like it just wasn't very good to me. Yeah, and I get it, like a faint sort of. Let me vape it again. I feel like I'm punishing myself. Did I lose something right now? That's what I feel like. All right, maybe it's starting to warm up a little bit. The apple's a little brighter than it was before, so yeah, I don't know. It's still just kind of muddy. I'm struggling with this one, guys. Grape juice was really bright and defined, even if it wasn't very grape juicy. Yeah, I don't feel like it's very accurate at all. I'm gonna go with a 2 on accuracy, and I don't feel like it was very innovative or risky. Apple butter would have been one of the easier flavors to approach. I think it's a bakery. There's a ton of apples, like Dave said. There's a ton of apples and a ton of bakery spices you could have used, like and a lot of even just direct subs that you probably could have pulled off without any problems. So I'm just gonna go with a 2 on innovation. I don't think it was very risky. It wasn't very risky. Like, and like it kind of compounds the not being very good to me. So I'm gonna go with a total of 6.5. So somebody wants to chat it up for a minute while I add up these scores.
Yeah, I'll chat it up. We got got some test flavors from Inawera in all Polish packaging with some nifty PG nicotine base, 6 milligram. Not quite sure how good that would be, but these are flavors they're currently testing. This is Zoe peanuts, and this is really good. This actually smells way better than AP, and might become like a game changer for making peanut recipes. The mojito right here, it's got an interesting like lemongrass to it, which it doesn't smell like a mojito, but it might have uses. I recommend this one too if it ever comes out. It's called Nut Only Banana. So they're not, I guess that's their way of saying no bread in a banana nut bread. And that one smells pretty good too. You got but it still smells like banana nut bread. So I don't know what they're going with, but that's a good one. This Rumble Crumble, it's kind of like, it's got a nice apple pie kind of note, like an apple. And then I guess behind it, there's some kind of grain to it. That one I like. And then the other one that's intriguing is Passion Flower. And I can't place this. It smells almost like a flower. So that'll be a couple one that he'll like. Pair of Pears is okay, but it doesn't seem like a game changer. And then the cheesecake, Yes We Cheesecake is what it's called. Someone's got to help them with their names. It smells like cardboard cheesecake. Like if, I don't know, there's a real cardboard note to it. So the Pair of Pears and Yes We Cheesecake, I wouldn't say are very interesting. But this one, the peanut concentrate, is really a nice nutty, kind of like with skin, the way a peanut would smell in the shell. So, and then it has that skin of a peanut note, like a fresh roasted. So this one, if you see it come out, I definitely suggest you give it a try. And then the Passion Flower if you're into florals. And then these other three might be fun to play with: the Mojito, Rumble Crumble, and Nut Only Banana. But I'd probably skip the cheesecake, and I'd probably skip the Pair of Pears unless you're just looking for like a hinted note. Now that being said, Inawera always smells strange as could be. So I still have to test them some more. But those are all, I think, 1, 2, 3, 6, 8 different things they're working on. One of them's Culotta. That's the other one. And it's, so that's not real impressive. But so I'd say, out of 8, 5 of them are kind of interesting to check out. And they're doing testing on those right now. And they're nice enough to send them. So if those ever hit the market, keep an eye out for them.
All right, so I got our scores here. Grack Juice ended up with a score of 2.8 out of 5, kind of edging out the competition in the risk department. And Apple Butter at 2.5. So it was close, right? Like these were really difficult profiles to nail. With such horrible limitations. Like it's probably the most challenging limitations I've ever seen in a single like regular contest. So it's a pretty difficult challenge to do, to recreate something like a Grack Juice or something in the top 10, and to not take the easy path by taking the easiest. These were probably 2 of the more difficult of the top 10 choices, since I'm sure that at least 4 of the top 10 are strawberry and creams, right? So they had a pretty limited range of flavor profiles that they could approach. Not that strawberries and cream would have been a bad thing, but it certainly would have tanked on the risk department. Since, everybody's done that, right, into the ground. I definitely appreciate all the effort you guys put into this very, very, very short time frame to work in. And then I make a shout out to Apexified for getting samples mixed up and sent out so very quickly, so that everyone else could get in here and participate. So great job, Apexified. Thank you a ton. Go ahead and claim who is the Grack Juice guy. Which one was you? Was it Rick? I bet it's Rick.
Rick posted a recipe in the chat.
No, that was Jarvis.
No, it was Rick. He
did
the Grack Juice, yeah.
So it was Rick?
Yeah, it was Rick.
Yeah. All right, well, Rick, you win again. Great job, man.
Man.
That was a close call. I'm sorry, man. Like, you chose like a tough week to catch us, and that was super tough. There was like I want to make a caveat by saying that for the amount of work that you had on your plate, like, that could have been anybody's game. So great work, guys. I appreciate all the time you put into this. It's been a lot of fun. We'll be doing another 1v1 shortly. If somebody wants to challenge Rick and get him to agree to it, we'll talk about it next week. You guys can come. In fact, if you want to come on the show or come into chat next week and challenge Rick to a 1v1 for round 3, we can talk about it then. But I don't want to commit to one right now because I don't want to keep planning stuff on the fly. So great show, everybody. Thanks for coming on. Great work. So Rick, do you have bragging rights for another week or two until somebody finally comes in and unseats you? Maybe I'll have to challenge you just to spice it up a little.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm really looking forward to Shyndo's tribute recipe.
Yes, I'm very looking forward to that. So Shyndo,
I bet it's going to be awesome.
In the coming days or weeks, I expect to see some fucking crazy recipe dedicated to Rick. So great work, you guys. Appreciate it. Just for those of you that came to the chat late, the winner has to create, or the loser has to create a tribute recipe to the winner. So now Shyndo needs to get a recipe up in the next. There's no timeline, just get a recipe up, and you need to dedicate it to Rick, right? Like, I want you to write your heartfelt love and compassion for Rick, right? I want to see all of it.
Oh, wait a minute. Jennifer Jarvis has challenged Rick.
Jarvis is calling Rick out.
Oh, game on.
Okay, that's it. It's game. It's there. All right, we're going to plan it, but we're not going to plan it for another week. So we're not going to talk about it again for another week. So, okay, Rick needs a break, 2 weeks. That's fair. All right, so we'll come back to it in 2 weeks. Us judges will secretly plot their demise and struggle. We're going to have to get really creative because Jarvis has every flavor known to man. So,
hey, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I know you all are watching in the chat, but some of you find this video, so be sure to hit subscribe, hit the bell. That way you'll know when we go live. And thanks for everybody watching.
Yep, thanks again, guys. Great show. We're going to cut it a little bit early tonight, and we'll hit our full hour on Sunday. So thanks for coming, everyone. Have a good week.